Hello, and welcome to Cemetery Stories, Capital Connections Edition, Season 4. I'm your host, Capital Eric, and I'm a tour guide here at Sacramento's Historic City Cemetery, as well as the California State Capitol Museum, a unit of California State Parks, just up the road. Today I'd like to tell you a little bit about one of our permanent residents here at the cemetery, someone who was connected in life or in death with the state capitol. Follow me. Today's episode is a very special episode. I have a special guest to tell this story. This is Alex Vassar of the California State Library. He's a legislative historian. He's written several books on the subject, and he's going to tell you a little bit about one of his favorite legislators who's interred here in City Cemetery. Take it away, Alex.
Great. Thank you, Eric. So today we are about a mile south of the California State Capitol at the tomb of Creed Haymond, who is one of the most notable legislators that has ever served the state of California. Since 1849, about 4,500 people have served in the California State Legislature, but really very few have had the lasting impact that he has. Born in Virginia in 1839, Creed Haymond came to California and quickly became involved in the railroads. He was soon appointed General Counsel of Southern Pacific Railroad and held that office for a number of years. In 1870, he was appointed to the California Code Commission, which was tasked with taking all of California's laws, which had been passed up to that point, which was about 7,000 different laws, and combining them, ordering them by subject into related codes. The work of the commission took 3 years, and at the end of it, California's laws had been combined into the Code of Civil Procedure, the Civil Code, the Penal Code, and the Political Code. These laws in this current structure are effectively how Californians use and interact with their laws today. After his work on the Code Commission, Creed Haymond was elected to the California State Senate, where he actually authored the bills that carried the proposals made by the Code Commission into law. He was probably the only legislator we have ever had, well, at least since 1849 or 1850, who knew all of California's laws and was able to keep track of them all in his head. After serving in the state legislature, he returned to full-time work for Southern Pacific Railroad as general counsel and held that position until the end of his life. After his death in 1893, he was brought down to Sacramento City Cemetery, where he remains buried today, and visited by people who appreciate his work for generations of Californians. Pardon me for reading this next part, but I love the words of this. After his death, the Sacramento Record Union wrote an obituary of Creed Haymond in which they said, "His memory will not fade from the annals of the state, for his public services have made it imperishable. As a chief among those who gave us a codified system of laws, his labor and genius will remain enshrined in these splendid works."
Well, that closes the door on another episode of Cemetery Stories, Capital Connections Edition, Season 4. I'm your host, Capital Eric, and it's been my pleasure telling you a little bit about Sacramento's Historic City Cemetery, as well as the California State Capitol Museum, a unit of California State Parks. Now, while unfortunately the state capitol remains closed to public tours during the pandemic, the cemetery remains open for a solitary stroll or some quiet contemplation. Keep up the social distancing, wash your hands, because it is better to be 6 feet apart than 6 feet under. Hope you enjoyed watching today's episode. Goodbye.